How are you doing and how have you been? My name is Tazasko and this is my basic Rimworld guide for beginner explaining crops. First of all, this guide will assume that you are understanding growing zones. No worry if you don't. I'll ping up one of my past videos about growing zones to help you. Now, in order for this video not to be half an hour long, I am going to just basically hit the main bullet points of each crop in Rimworld. I'm going to miss a few out because remember this is a basic guide for beginners. So any further information is for more advanced users that hopefully I'll do a guide in the future. In order for this guide not to be half an hour long and for you guys not to be bored by the sound of my voice, I'm going to go through most of the crops of importance to beginners early on. Some of the more advanced ones I'm going to leave out just for time restraints, and we're going to talk about the uses of all the plants. Cocoa is very underrated. It is very work intensive, it does need to be said. However, this is really good for recreation. So each of your colonists has a recreation bar. If it gets too low, they could have potential to break down. This is not good. Cocoa could be the answer for you. You could use this on caravans as you're out and about. Equally, if you're in a long raid or at a beginning of a raid, you could instruct people to use this if they have low recreation, meaning they're less likely to have an ill-timed breakdown. If you need to get a job done quickly, you can also do it so they don't waste time on recreation. We don't want no chilling here. Strawberries are generally bad nutrition yield, personally. Theoretically, they're the best cash crop. However, I believe there is so many other money-making methods that are less work-intensive, I wouldn't really worry about it. However, it is worth saying that strawberries can be eaten raw, so they do have their benefit there. Potato. Now this is an interesting one and there is always a debate whether it's more worth doing rice or potato. I'll give you the information and you can decide for yourself. You can get more potato or corn out of a single harvest than rice, and rice is a lot quicker to grow but yields left per square. What that means is once harvested, you would get more potato than you would rice, but you get rice quicker. I personally think potatoes are better to be grown over rice because basically I don't like how rice looks, which is a little bit racist. Hay grass has its usage. As a beginner, you can use this for kibble. You will need kibble and meat at your butcher station. But later on, you'll probably just use nutrient-based food crops to feed dogs, which are more efficient. However, early on, it is fine just to make kibble with hay grass. Make sure you have it for your animals. Psychodoid, most drugs produced are useful. However, if you get the addictions wrong, or the usage wrong, I should say, the whole colony could be hooked on drugs, which means it would then become just as vital as food. Which, if you're being efficient, would be a waste. If you're having fun, then you'll be living the high life. Also, you will need this to make flake and yago. Don't ask me if that's the right way of saying it. And that is an extraordinarily good money maker. The reasons why I say either or is, again, there is a debate in Rimworld which one is better. That's up to you. Enjoy. Also, psychedelic tea has no addiction. If taken per 2 days, is more useful than beer for consumption, as it provides only benefits, unlike beer, which does have some drawbacks if you drink more than one bottle. Smokeleaf, generally a bad cash crop. Pretty terrible drug in my opinion, unless you really need to calm down a colonist. It's always handy having a 2x2 patch in those instincts. Cloth. Cloth is mandatory basically as a beginner. You can't really live without it. It makes medicine, flat clothing, other clothing useful for carpets, your rec rooms, certain rec items down the line. You pretty much are required to have this early on. Rice is really good for hydroponics, but we won't go into there just because hydroponics give a higher rate of speed of growth, but we won't talk about too much on that. Again, there is a debate. It's either rice or potato, not really. You can have both, but not really. Sure, rice does give the most bang for buck, but my pawns are so busy doing other things because rice is harvested so quickly, because it grows so quickly, that will be quite work intensive if you are growing. Hops is what you need to make beer, and beer is generally quite work intensive in comparison to other money makers. So it's probably still more efficient to go down the psychedelic route to make flake and yago that we spoke about before. However, no one can beat a cold one. It is worth noting that if you're going down to making beer, I do need to say hops need to be first made into wort. I have a guide that I will pop up now. And then it needs to be fermented in a barrel for several days, so it does take a lot longer. Devil's Strand is probably the best fabric you can get consistently as a beginner until Hyperweave. Best cap crop, but does take a while to grow, so do keep that in mind. However, you want to then equip your colonists with Devil's Strand clothing material rather than cloth down the line. Also makes really good armchairs, and let's be honest, we all like to be cozy. Heal root is pretty much mandatory. Don't even think about it, just grow heal root. Just grow heal root. Don't listen to anyone, just grow heal root. If you don't have medicine, at least you have herbal medicine. It will get you out of a jam. Late on in the game, you might have infinite glitter world medicine, which is the best medicine in the game. At that point, you might not have to worry about it, but early on, it is mandatory. You need it. If someone gets an illness, you are going to want medicine. Don't learn the hard way like we all have before. Corn, in my opinion, the best crop, giving the most yield per square. Plant a 50 by 50 splot at the beginning of the season, and you're going to have enough food to live the dream. However, you do need to be careful if you're not spreading your growing zones out, as one blight to all your corn could end you because it takes a while to make. However, it's less work intensive because once you grow it, it will be a long time until harvest. I'll end this with saying no matter what I say, no matter what anyone says, no crop is useless. Most are very situational. There is always a map, a problem that a crop can solve. I hope this guide has been helpful, and if there's anything else that you feel that could help new players, feel free to leave a comment below to help others through the wonderful world of Rimworld. As always, I'll catch you next time, party people. Bye.